to point out where my mistakes in the language are. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
So the first thing I said, أنا أريد أن نناقش عن موضوع, and I'm pretty sure you just have to say أنا أريد أن أناقش موضوعا, like
Hmm.
that, right?
Yes.
You don't use عن with ناقش, ناقش, يناقش, right?
Yes.
And then I don't know why I just keep saying like بدأت أن أدرس instead of بدأت أدرس.
Hmm.
So these are two, but if there's, I'm sure there's 100% there's other things that you can point out. Okay, and then you can tell me what your opinion is on what I said as well. You ready?
Yeah.
هيا. اليوم أنا أريد أن نناقش عن مناظرة مثيرة للاهتمام للغاية، وهذه المناظرة بين معلمين، واحد منهما هو يقول أن الطالب عليه أن يبدأ عندما يريد أن يتعلم Go on.
يقول
Wait,
إن.
wait, let me go back. Oh yeah, you know what? Sometimes I catch this.
Yeah.
Um, you mean like so always after you say قال and then
قال.
you don't say أن, you say إن, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I know that, but it's very hard to. So you should say واحد منهما يقول إن الطالب عليه
Yes.
أن يبدأ.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is? Because I've never like, it seems like that's just one example, and normally you won't use inna, right?
Yeah.
Is
It's
it
just
from just from the?
yeah. That it's just the rule with قال. قال إن.
Okay,
But
okay.
no, قال أن. قال إن.
This one is going to be hard to fix for me because you know, like when you start doing something and you do it the wrong way and you pick up that habit, like the thing with bada'a and yadrusta instead of bada'a yadrusu,
It's
it's
hard to
very hard for
learn.
me to fix that. Yeah, because I barely even notice it, and only sometimes when I watch like the recording, I'm like, oh, why did I say that again? Even though like, yeah, it's hard to be conscious of it when you're thinking about like trying to convey a different message. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, let's continue. يقول أن الطالب عليه أن يبدأ عندما يريد أن يتعلم اللغة العربية الفصحى لكي يفهم القرآن الكريم وأحاديث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وكتب العلماء والشعر وهكذا. هو يحتاج أن يبدأ بقواعد اللغة، وبعد ذلك قراءة الكتاب، وبعد ذلك الترجمة. والمعلم الآخر هو يقول أن الطالب يحتاج أن يبدأ بممارسة اللغة وبالتحدث وبحفظ المفردات. وهناك مناظرة بينهما. Okay, first of all, I want to ask what is your opinion before you see what I said. You obviously probably know what my opinion is, but like, okay, if you have the choice to teach someone from scratch, and you had the choice between, let's say, the Medina books and the Beni Yadek books, where would you start?
For someone to be able to understand what they are reading, they need to acquire vocabulary. And I feel like starting with بين يديك can help with that. Not dismissing the importance of learning grammar completely, but I feel like the basics of grammar are already covered in بين يديك.
Mm,
Should be sufficient for someone who's at the beginning of their learning journey. And once they've got to the point where they can, like form basic sentences and have a very basic conversation, like things like who I am, my name is this, I can do this, like I go to school, I like this is my profession, I've got how many brothers, how many sisters, then you can start learning grammar.
mm.
That's my opinion.
See, I personally think for me personally as a student, the thing I benefited the most from when it comes to the language is learning how to speak and learning how to have a conversation and express myself. And then now, as I tried to articulate it in this video, but I didn't could do it very well. But now I don't think about memorizing words at all. I just try and use the language.
Mhm.
And then I just try and just it's like I the way I do it now is like if that word is important, I'll look it up at the time, and then if it never comes again, then I'm just gonna forget it. Does that make sense? But if I keep needing that word and it's like a roadblock every time I want to express myself, then every time I try to express that opinion, I search that word and then I use that word to express my opinion. And then that way I just end up learning it. You know what I mean? But obviously, in the beginning, you need to acquire an amount of vocab and skills to do that. But I think for me personally, starting the the Medina books was the right decision because when I tried Beni Yadayk, it was very hard for me because I didn't understand why things gave the meaning that they gave. So if you see like adhabu, yadhabu, tadhab, right? I didn't I needed like an explanation as to like why is this giving a different meaning? Um and that was like super overwhelming for me. Whereas the way that Medina did it, it introduces like each pronoun. It starts off with only a past tense, and then it introduces a pronoun per lesson. Like when you say dhahaba, and then you say dhahabtu, and then you say dhahabta. Like you build these like very slowly. So that way I understood it. So then when we started speaking, it was a lot easier. Do you remember when we started? Like I didn't feel like I had to ask much. Like if I saw this sentence right here, even if I didn't know the words, like أنا أريد أن نناقش,
Mm.
even if I didn't know what the words meant, it was useful because I knew that this would be like a present tense verb and it means I, and then the beginning noon on the 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 other one means we. So uridu, I know the difference between that and turidu, and nunaqish. You know what I mean? So I did actually feel like starting with grammar um benefited me a lot because it allowed me to like ease into the language from an outside perspective. Does that make sense?
Mm.
But as I said, as you know, like when I'm teaching now, I don't take that approach. I think getting involved with the language immediately, but so long as you don't expose to the student to too many things at once. You know what I mean? So if you were to then start with present tense verbs, you only really want to talk about like I and you. Like where are you from and I am from here. Does that make sense? So you only think about two pronouns and you normally think about them in the present tense. And then I just basically focus on these two and then add them like slowly. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I like explaining the grammar as as you go along. But I think I'm going to mention that. So if you wanted to start from scratch with somebody, because when you and I met, like we didn't start from scratch, right? Like I already had been through a lot of the Medina books. So for me, when it comes to, I like starting with getting involved in the language immediately, not getting the student to try and memorize anything from like lists. It's just like you just use it on a daily basis
Mm.
and you just keep repeating until you can do it without reading off the screen, and you pick it up on the fly, and then you learn how to speak about yourself specifically. So you learn how to say, if you're from Kenya, you don't need to learn, like you're not given a list of like 20 countries. You just only need to learn Kenya. You know what I mean? Obviously, let's say America because Kenya is just Kenya, right? But like let's just say America. You need to learn how to say أنا من أمريكا ومن أين أنت, you
Mm.
know? But you don't need to learn what the response necessarily means. And I like teaching مضاف مضاف إليه and حرف جر اسم مجرور first when it comes to grammar because I feel like they almost appear in almost every sentence that you use. Like to me, like they're super, super common and they require an explanation as to like, why do I say min ayi baladin anta? And then
Mm.
when the student, he always, 99% of the time when I've taught it, the student will then say, ana min baladin America. And then you
Mm.
have to say, oh, ana min baladi America. But then they will ask you why that is.
Mm.
So you don't need, so then I like to explain it at that moment. You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
to show you on this book. I don't know if I've showed you. I think I tried this because I tried to study Arabic 2 or 3 times prior. By the way, the video course, I think I tried this book here, Benedict, and the guy in the video course, may Allah bless him, but he went through all of this stuff
Mm,
before even beginning. He went through and he explained all of this, you know, and that basically made me give up the first time.
mm,
But specifically where I gave up was when it had like the family tree of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is where I quit. I could not understand any of this, you know,
mm,
because you're saying هذه, you know, and then you're going like it doesn't make sense when you say هذه والدته. I don't think that you can explain this. You can say هذا والده
mm,
and but with zero explanation. And then you say هذه والدته. And
mm,
there's no explanation as to like why is this giving this meaning? Why are we using these? Um, but when we did it, because I had studied the framework of the grammar, I didn't have any questions as to like why this gives like even if I didn't know what walida means, I would know why we're saying هذه, and I would know this is feminine, and I would know that this attached pronoun is talking about him, as in
mm.
like his thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is specifically where I gave up when I tried to study prior to doing grammar. So I
Yes.
definitely think like this is super, super overload, and this is right in the beginning of the book. So if you are going to teach through the speaking method, um, this is I feel like this specific type of conversation is completely the wrong one. Does that
Mm,
make sense? I think you should only focus on I and you. Where am I from? What is my name? What is my age? What is your age? You know, do you live in a house or a flat? And then only after that, introduce like he or she slowly and gradually. You know what I mean? Like to say, okay, let's just talk about your brother today, and
mm.
then we'll do it that way. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
yeah, that was my opinion on that. This one is too. Even if you've never studied grammar before and you try to, you don't even know what an attached pronoun is. You know, and you try to if you try to explain the grammar in this all in one go, does that make sense? Like you're saying, okay, you're trying to explain like مضاف مضاف إليه, هذا وهذه, and all these kind of things. I would definitely give up, like 100%. وأنا أريد أن نناقش عن هذه المناظرة إن شاء الله. ولماذا أنا أريد أن أرمي قبعتي في هذا الحوار? Okay, I have no idea if you can actually say that in Arabic. Can you say that or not?
I yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's not a phrase that you use. And then قبعتي should be with a qaf, not kaf.
Okay, I think this is like the thing, so
Yeah.
maybe I need to fix that. But yeah, قبعتي, yeah, I don't know, it just came to my mind, so just like I'll just say it and then wing it. But like, yeah, it seemed like it would fit, you know. Well, I don't want to throw my hat into this discussion. أرمية, I feel like it would fit. قبعتي في هذا الحوار في هذه المناظرة. أولا لأنني أريد أن أمارس لغتي، وأنا أريد أن أعبر بمشاعري في هذا الموضوع لأنني أجد كما قلت هذا الموضوع مثيرا للاهتمام للغاية. وأيضا أنا رجل إنجليزي، أنا رجل بريطاني وتعلمت هذه اللغة وأنا رجل بالغ في الكبر. Okay, can I say that or should I say
بالغ
وكنت
وأنا
وكنت رجلًا بالغًا. Sorry?
no, no, وأنا رجل بالغ is sufficient. No
Would
need to
that give the meaning of, um I wasn't like 100% sure, as in if like because does that give this
وهذه اللغة
meaning as in like what the translation actually says? One second.
إنجليزي، أنا رجل بريطاني وتعلمت هذه اللغة وأنا رجل بالغ في
yes,
الكبر.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, it is sufficient. You just don't need to say fil kibar. Like بالغ is enough.
Yes. Okay, okay.
ما تعلمت هذه اللغة في الصغر. نعم. بدأت في كوفيد في هذا الوقت. نعم. وتعلمت على الشبكة الدولية. وبصراحة ما تعلمت من أي مدرسة. نعم. تعلمت من يوتيوب ومع صديقي من مصر وأيضا مع صديقي من الجزائر. في هذه الأيام أنا أمارس معه أيضا.
I forgot to mention that I also studied with a brother from Libya
Yeah.
prior to meeting you. I think I studied with him for like at least 6 months, and I think we did a lot of book 2 of Medina.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to speak with him again because that was years ago. Maybe I should try and call him one day, inshallah. May Allah bless him. All right.
لكني تعلمت مع صديقي من مصر على الهاتف وعلى الشبكة الدولية وفي يوتيوب ودرست ودرست أيضا كتب المدينة سلسلة المدينة الكتب التي هم يدرسون في المدينة المنورة في الجامعة. بعد ذلك
Yeah, for some reason I said Modena instead of Medina, which is like, yeah. Anyway,
بعد أن قابلت صديقي من مصر بدأت أن أتعلم
so this is what I'm talking about here. So this should be بدأت أتعلم, right?
Yes.
Is this actually a mistake? Because I feel like it just doesn't feel like a mistake at all to me.
It doesn't feel like it's a mistake, but it's not correct.
Okay. So I have to fix this is like my priority. Because after recording myself, like at this stage, this is why I want to make more videos of just like speaking Arabic. Because when I watch back the recording, I realize like, okay, even if it's not a mistake, it's like I keep saying this thing this way, and I need to find a different way to say it. You
There
know,
is
I need
actually
different words.
there is a grammar lesson on that thing. Like the verb that you use to say I embarked on or I started doing something. Like it's called أفعال الشروع. Um,
Okay.
and like the rule is the verb, you use the verb which means embarked on. بدأت is just one of them. There's a lot more
Yes.
that you can use synonymously. And
Like
it's,
أخذ, right?
yes, أخذ, بدأ, طفق, شرع. They
Okay.
all mean like start. And what comes right after is فعل مضارع without
Hmm.
So بدأت أتعلم شرعت أتعلم أخذت
What
أتعلم.
about جعل? Can that
uh,
mean to begin, like to start? Because in the book القراءة الراشدة, I think he says like قمت أصلي
mm,
وجعل الناس يتعجبون, and I feel like that
I,
would
I,
mean like it
I
go
think,
on.
yeah, I think it might be one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be. It can be used, yeah, as
Yeah,
a
we'll check that. I'm gonna check that then.
yeah,
Because normally جعل means to make, right?
yes,
Mm. Okay.
من مصر بدأت أن أتعلم التحدث ودرسنا العربية بين يديك.
Okay, here's a question. I feel like I can say درسنا العربية like as in like speech marks العربية بين يديك, right?
yes,
Can I would you say العربية because you're quoting the name of the thing. You're not making العربية بين يديك like the object. Or
yes. You
could you do
can.
both?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
No, I think it's actually the right way to say it. Like if you say درسنا العربية بين يديك, it changes the meaning completely.
Right.
What do you
So
think the
it's
meaning
like
would be if you say ودرسنا العربية بين يديك? What does that mean? If you said it like that, what would it mean?
we so that العربية is going to be the مفعول به.
Mm,
I'm not
yeah.
sure. I can't understand the meaning difference. So if okay, yeah, I'll let you explain. But I think that I don't see how there would be a meaning difference off the top of my head. But I
Okay,
feel like the correct thing is to say, like, speech marks like درسنا and then speech marks العربية بين يديك, and then that entire thing is the object.
the whole
But I
phrase
don't
is
know.
be.
Yeah, but I don't know if I put a fatha there, I don't know how that would change. It doesn't
Yes,
jump out like it would change the meaning that much.
it would. It actually would. So that's why it's important, for people, because it's not just about the subtitles, like the way it's said really matters. So
Mm,
when you say like درسنا العربية بين يديك, the understanding would be, oh, this is a phrase. That's not
yes.
just like one word. If you said ودرسنا العربية بين يديك, it would literally mean, and we studied the Arabic language which is in between your hands.
Yes. It's like, okay, that's what I was thinking, but I felt like that was
Like,
not that much of a different meaning, but I get what you mean.
no, it
Yeah.
breaks the phrase up. Like it's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
longer
It makes like the speech marks Beni Dake.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
like
So it's
uh,
now it's not a phrase. Like العربية بين يديك is no longer a phrase. It's two, like it's
so it's
different parts.
kinda like درسنا العربية التي
التي
بين
بين
يديك.
يديك. Like we
Okay,
studied the Arabic language, which is like in your hands right now, or something along
mm,
those lines.
okay.
So yeah, the haraka does matter.
That's why I said it this one without the harakat. I just said العربية بين يديك, 'cause that wasn't like I think I already knew the answer, which is to put a dhamma, because we've
Okay.
discussed it when we did like Hidayatul Nahwu.
Yeah.
Like, as in when you just say it like that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, anyway. Okay.
العربية بين يديك. إذا استفدت كثيرا من قواعد اللغة ومن تعلم قواعد اللغة، وأيضا استفدت كثيرا من التحدث والممارسة والاستماع والكتابة أيضا. إذا كما قلت أنا أجد هذا الموضوع مثيرا للاهتمام للغاية، وأريد أن أعبر بمشاعري، وأريد أن أحفظ أيضا بعض المفردات والعبارات التي أحتاج إليها عندما أريد أن أناقش هذا الموضوع. نعم.
Okay, so I actually only looked up one word. I thought I was gonna have to look up a lot more words, but I managed to get my thoughts across in Arabic, and I
Mm.
only needed one word, which you will never guess. I
Yes.
think the word is الملاكمة الركلية. Is that
الملاكمة. Oh, is that like kickboxing?
الركلية? Yes. See,
Oh,
I never wrote that word down. I never thought about that word, but this is the way that I remember words right now. Because for some reason it had a meaning within the
yeah.
context. Like, I remembered it from just searching it that one time,
Mm.
which is why I think that learning to speak is so important, because you can, like, speaking and listening skills help you acquire this like active vocabulary,
Yes.
and based on context. But when you read books, in my opinion, it's very hard to acquire vocabulary which has a meaning in your mind in the Arabic language and not just as a translation.
Mm.
I feel like you can only understand it in Arabic when you can actually express it in a random sentence in a completely different context. So, for
Yes.
example, like in Hidayatul Nahu, um, I could probably use the word tadullu. Like, I learned that one word. And is it يختص?
Yes. It's
I could probably use these two words in a different context, but these are the only words that I've really taken from there, from
mm,
from reading, that I would be able to like actively use. And I feel like I still don't know them until I take those two words and like uh specifically use them in contexts that are correct.
mm.
But yeah. So I learned that word without writing it down on a paper or without using a flashcard. الملاكمة الركلية, kickboxing. Anyway, okay.
أن أناقش هذا الموضوع. نعم. وأيضا أنا أعلم هذه اللغة، وبالرغم من أنني بدأت بقواعد اللغة. أنا الآن عندما أعلم أبدأ بالتحدث ولا أبدأ بقواعد اللغة. إذا عندي تجربتي ولا أقول أنني محق. نعم، أنا لا أقول أنني على الحق، لكني أتحدث.
So I learned the word muhiqqun from that Flona cartoon. So is that the right way? I've never actually used that in a sentence, but I just because he said to his son, "Anta lasta muhiqqan." Is
Yes.
that the correct way to use it? Yeah.
Yeah.
لا أقول أنني محق, as in like I'm not saying that I am correct. Yeah.
Yes. And again,
Okay.
here لا أقول إنني.
Ah, that's one of the ones that's hard because like I know the rule, but like
Yes.
again, like there's a huge difference between knowing a rule, like understanding a rule theoretically in your mind. It's literally like knowing theoretically how to swim, but
Yes.
never having swam before. That's how it feels to me. Anyway.
أنني محق. نعم، أنا لا أقول أنني على الحق، لكني أتحدث من.
And also the thing is, like, it's very rare that like a native speaker would even pick up on that. Do you think native speakers say inna?
I don't
Is
think
that how
native
they do
speakers
it?
even realize that this is a mistake.
Yeah, right. Because I feel like no one really corrects me when I say that.
Mm,
Um, yeah, even when I'm listening to like podcasts and stuff like that, it's very rare that like it's so subtle, because anna and inna, like they don't feel that much different.
mm.
And it seems like a technical difference, right? It's like if I said لا أقول أنني محق, is that any different in terms of meaning to the listener necessarily if I said لا أقول إنني محق? Is there a difference in meaning, like a huge difference in meaning?
No, there is no difference in meaning. It's just grammatically incorrect. That's all. But
Yeah, so
it
that's why I think
shows
people
the
don't
meaning
pick up
it's
on it,
with.
right?
Yeah, like it's similar to, like when you say he told me that he is doing something instead of he told me he was doing. It doesn't change the meaning, but it's
Yeah.
just not correct, you know?
Okay, okay.
على الحق، لكني أتحدث من تجربتي فقط. ولكل معلم له طريقه، وهو يريد أن يفيد الطلاب بشكل جيد إن شاء الله. إذا هو يأخذ من تجربته ومن علمه وهو يحافظ.
Okay, I said you حافظ instead of you حاولوا. I don't know why I said that.
Okay.
Okay, how wrong is that to say out of interest? Because obviously I know that حافظ or يحافظ is like to preserve, right? So the way
Mhm.
I said it, I meant to say هو يحاول.
من تجربته ومن علمه وهو يحافظ أن يعمل برنامجا مفيدا للطلاب ولو فكر.
Is that just completely wrong what I said, right?
I mean, it's just a slip of a tongue, like yeah, like someone can understand what you were trying to say. That's fine.
Yeah.
مفيدا للطلاب ولو فكر أن الصحيح هي أن الصحيح هو بداء أن يبدأ الطالب بقواعد اللغة. هو يقول ذلك، هو ينصح الطالب هكذا. ولو فكر أن الصحيح هو أن.
Okay, it's not أن صحيحة, right? It's just with a ha.
Yes. إن الصحيح.
Yeah, I don't know why this. I didn't realize when I was looking at the video, like it's added this. But the way I said it is correct, yeah? Because I
Yeah.
said هو, yeah? Okay.
فكر أن الصحيح هو أن الطالب هو يبدأ بالتحدث وممارسة اللغة والمفردات وهكذا. هو ينصح الطالب هكذا. وسوف نناقش إن شاء الله هذا الأمر. وعندما أجد كلمة التي أحتاج إليها ولكن لا أعرفها سوف أبحث. وأنا أريد إن شاء الله في هذا الفيديو أن أريكم كيف أنا أتعلم هذه اللغة خاصة.
Go on.
I
You say
didn't say
something.
anything. No, no, no. I didn't
All
say
right.
anything.
Okay, okay, sorry.
المفردات والعبارات والكلمات الحديثة في هذه الأيام.
Okay, I like saying al-hadith instead of al-jadida, just because it feels like,
Modern.
um, yeah, people don't use al-haditha to mean that. Oh yeah, it's not modern words. I meant new words.
Yes.
Well, why did it translate it as modern? Oh, I need to fix that. Okay. Um, I like saying al-haditha instead of al-jadida. But for you, when I say al-haditha, does that seem unusual to you, or is that completely normal?
No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Okay.
People use them both interchangeably, so it's not wrong.
Sometimes I like to specifically choose like the more unused word, just just to use it, you know? Um, yeah, just because it feels like when you're a beginner, you always use the beginner words like jadid, you know? So if you can use a different word that's not as beginner,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like it just levels up your expression just a little bit, you know? So I'm
Yes.
always like searching for these different ways to say the same thing, like synonyms. المرادف.
المفردات والعبارات والكلمات الحديثة في هذه الأيام. عندما بدأت أن أدرس على يوتيوب عندما بدأت أن أدرس كتب المدينة كنت أحاول أن أحفظ الكلمات وكنت أقرأ الكلمات على
Okay, I don't know why, but make this mistake more than once when
I
I'm
was just
recording
gonna
myself.
say,
When I
like,
say aktubu and akra'u, I mean to say aktubu, but I say akra'u.
okay,
So
okay.
I actually what I want is that what you thought I meant to say or not?
Um, I mean, like, if he continued,
Okay.
yeah,
I think what I said made sense, but it's not what I meant. I meant to say
mm,
كنت أكتب
yes,
الكلمات. Um, which is why, like, okay, these are like أقرأ and أكتب must be like some of the first verbs that you will ever learn,
yeah,
ever. And like up till now, I'm still making mistakes. Like it's still something that catches me, you know?
mm,
So yeah, I just feel like you could know the words in theory very well, and you could even teach the theory very well, you know? Because I
yes,
was watching a podcast with brother Khasu, and he's speaking with this one guy. I think he's Pakistani. Well, I'm not sure where he's from, but he's like when Khasu brought him on, he was like, "This guy's level of Arabic is like more than anyone else I've brought on the thing," you know. And then so his level, the guy, he's like a teacher of Arabic, and his level is very good. And then Khasu like mentions, he's like, "By the way, you said like qultu annani, and it should be qultu innani." And the guy was like, "Oh my god, like I teach this rule all the time and I always pick up on it and now I've made the same mistake, you know?
mm,
So yeah, what the rules in your mind and on paper are not the same as when you try to express them in the world, you know?
الكلمات وكنت أقرأ الكلمات على الورقة وأن أضع الورقة على الحائط وكنت أقرأ الكلمات يوميا وأنا أقول مثلا كتاب بوك كتاب بوك كتاب بوك هذا هذا هذه female هكذا كنت أقول
I learned the word ha'id from playing Roblox with you.
okay. That's
Sometimes
cool.
I also know where I learned the word, you know, which is quite funny. It's like I don't just know the word. It's like I specifically learned it in a specific context.
Yes.
Um, so yeah.
أقول هكذا والحمد لله حفظت الكلمات هكذا وبعد ذلك بدأت أن أستخدم
So this is the thing that I don't think I can fix. This to an thing.
Yes.
I feel like I must make videos where I speak in Arabic and I must like consciously try to fix this because I've learned it this way. I don't know how, but it's like slipped under the radar. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
again, I know practically what the rule is now, but somehow I've learned it this way. And again, like people, if I say it this way, people won't correct me. You know?
Mm,
Would you like? Does that pop out to you if I said that as like, oh, you should correct him when he says that? Obviously, we brought it up now, but if we were just talking and we're in the middle of the conversation, and I said بدأت أن أستخدم
Yes.
تطبيقًا, would you stop me and be like, "Oh, you need to fix that?" Or would you let it's like quite a small it feels like a small mistake, right?
It's a small mistake, but because you use this structure
A lot.
quite a lot, it's important to, um,
Yeah.
like, flag it up every single time you do it, otherwise it
Yes.
becomes natural, and if,
Yeah.
like, if you don't use it that much, it would have been a different story, but you've used it quite a lot, and, like,
Yeah, and
you watch
also
the video, like, is it, like, just 5 minutes into the video, and you probably have
yeah,
used it.
I this is how I say it, so it's like it's a bad habit. And also the brother Ahmed from Algeria was telling me today, he was
Mm,
like, "You keep using like لو ما فعلت ذلك."
mm.
He was just say لو لم يفعل, for example, or
Ge
لو
ge
لم تفعل. He was saying
generally,
that that's much yeah, he was saying like you
yeah,
always use this, so you need to also
yeah,
instead of
like,
saying لو ما درست, you say لو لم تدرس.
no, not just that, like, generally with, past tense verbs in the negation form, I haven't seen you saying, لم أفعل, لم آكل, لم أشرب. It's
I
always ما
don't do it that
فعلت,
way. No,
ما
I
أكلت,
don't.
ما شربت, um, and it's just that.
That's
So
way easier for me. I've learned it that way. And now to say like lem and then present tense is like going out of my way to
yes,
say the same thing. But the way he explained it was like if you say lo ma fa'altu,
if I hadn't
it's
done
like
that, yeah, it's a different meaning. If you say لو ما فعلت, it's like if I hadn't done that, whatever something would have happened. If you say لو لم أفعل, it's if I didn't do that. So it changes the meaning. Yes.
but also it's like he just said it's easier to say and it sounds better to say use lem like lo lem af'al dhalik.
It's not wrong,
Sounds
but like
I use it
he
a
said,
lot. Like as in like every time I want to say that, I would use the إذا ما فعلت instead of
it's interesting
إذا
because
لم
it's
أفعل.
yeah, it's interesting because you said like it's easier for you to say ما فعلت ما أكلت ما شربت generally instead of like not just the لو past
Yeah,
like it's actually not easier. The easier thing is to say لم أفعل لم آكل لم
it's
أشرب, not ما
probably because of the
may,
Medina books, and you
yeah,
learn past tense for like the entire first book. So
mm,
it's like those are probably I'm more comfortable with them. And also when you learn like verb conjugation, you generally start with past tense verbs.
mm,
Like when they teach you, they normally start with like fa'ala, you know what I mean? And they'll start
yes,
with that. And then once they've done like that entire table, they'll move to the present tense. But
yes,
I personally teach present tense first. And I think that if I had to choose between like the muster, the past tense, or the present tense,
mm,
I always explain like I much prefer the present tense verb. If I had to choose just one word to memorize, like let's just say يستخدم, because you could say أستخدم, you could say سأستخدم, you could say لا أستخدم, you can say لن أستخدم, you can say لم أستخدم,
mm,
right? And you can say, uh, for example, كنت أستخدم, and you could say ما كنت أستخدم. So could you say all these variations with the present tense verb, and you can even give past tense meaning.
mm,
You can do past continuous or you could do past negation. You know what I mean? By using
yes,
lem or like kuntu, for example. You can basically you're basically just stuck. You can't like give very easily as far as I know. Like if I just said istakhdama, it's hard and if I didn't know the present tense, it's hard for me to convey a future tense meaning if I only know istakhdamtu, for example, right?
mm,
Does that make sense? But if
yeah,
I know astakhdimu, I can literally go present, continuous, future, negation present, negation future. I can do past continuous and I can do negation past, all with a present tense verb. So I do think the present tense verb is more useful to me. So I
mm.
should. I should start saying إذا لم أستخدم instead of إذا ما استخدمت, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to do that inshallah.
تطبيقا اسمه memorize. نعم، وتعلمت وحفظت كثيرا من المفردات في هذا الطريق وبهذا الطريق، لكن لا أنصح الطالب هكذا في هذه الأيام. أنا أنصحكم إن شاء الله أن أن يبدأ أن يكتسب على المفردات. إن شاء الله سوف ترى هكذا عندما أتحدث أنا أريد أن أناقش موضوعا معينا وأريد أن أبحث عن الكلمات التي أحتاج إليها في هذا الحوار أو في هذه المناظرة إن شاء الله.
I also learned مناظرة by making this video. I didn't know that word. So is it ناظرة يناظر
Yes.
مناظرة? Is
Yeah.
like that? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
وبالتأكيد أنا أخطئ عندما أتحدث، ولكن لا أخاف من الأخطاء لأنني لست من الناطقين الأصليين، ولو أردت أن أكون جيدا في هذه اللغة أحتاج أن أمارس التحدث والقراءة والاستماع والكتابة. نعم.
What do you think about that point though? Because it's like, I know that we're talking about how should the person start, but I do feel like it is almost like almost black and white the way it's been portrayed, and like the person must do this, and I just don't feel like it's that black and white. I feel like
Yes.
you need all those things. You need listening skills, speaking skills, writing skills, reading skills, translation skills. Like I feel like as an English speaker learning Arabic for the purposes of religion, you should really like learn all of these, right? Because
Yeah.
if you don't learn speaking, like I feel like I'm getting close to, and I am able to now actually study certain simple topics completely in Arabic and rely basically very little on English. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every now and then I may need to look up a word, but now I'm able to be given a definition in Arabic and understand what that word means by hearing the definition in Arabic, you know? And I feel like if you don't learn how to speak, you can't study in Arabic. You can only study Arabic in English, and you can't ask the teacher questions in Arabic. You can't express yourself in Arabic if you're confused, and you can't be given definitions in Arabic. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, so even in English, if let's say I didn't know what the word practice was, let's say I've never seen that word before, how would I acquire this word? I wouldn't look it up because I speak English. I would look up the definition in English, and then they would provide me with the explanation in English, right?
Yes.
So without learning to speak, you will always be stuck with searching up the word, the Arabic word. Let's say it's like umaris. You would have to look this up in an Arabic to English dictionary and then understand it um in English. Does that make sense? But you couldn't look up the word in Arabic and then see the definition in Arabic or be given it by your teacher orally, you know? Like as in like the you ask oh لا أعرف ما معنى أمارس, and then he provides you with an explanation in Arabic from the top of his head. It'd be very hard to do that if you don't practice speaking, I think. Or at least
Yes.
that's my experience, you know? And I think that a lot of students actually want that. Like they don't want to just study Arabic in English, you know? So anyway.
نعم. وهكذا أنا أمارس. بعد ذلك إن شاء الله سوف أشاهد الفيديو وأنا أنا أفكر هل هذا صحيح؟ أنا أقول هذه الجملة هكذا، هل هذا صحيح أم لا؟ وأنا ممكن أسأل معلمي أو الذكاء الاصطناعي وهكذا. وهذا شيء مفيد. نعم. لتسجل نفسك وأنت تتحدث، وبعد ذلك سوف تستمع إلى نفسك وسوف ترى أين أنت تخطئ كثيرا وما هي الكلمات التي أنت تحتاج إليها لكي تعبر بمشاعرك. إذن قبل أن نبدأ أريد أن أقول شيئا شيئا مهما. حسنا، أريد أن أقول أن أحب المعلمين وأنا أحب كليهما هذين
Ah, that was supposed to say معلمين. I didn't mean to say معلمين.
Mm.
Because I was specifically talking about, I should have said أنا أحب هذين المعلمين.
مهما. حسنا، أريد أن أقول أن أحب المعلمين وأنا أحب كليهما هذين المعلمين. واحد منهما هو يظن أن الطالب يحتاج أن يبدأ بقواعد اللغة لكي يفهم اللغة بشكل صحيح، والآخر هو يقول أن الطالب.
So that should be إن الطالب. Okay, you're right. That's gonna. I'm gonna fix. I think I can fix this one faster than I can fix the other mistake. So it should be والآخر هو يقول إن الطالب. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
يقول أن الطالب عليه أن يبدأ بالتحدث. نعم، لكن عندي تجربتي أيضا وأنا أعلم هذه اللغة لغير الناطقين بها، وعندي تجربتي ورأيي أيضا. إذن هيا نناقش.
Do you know where I learned the word or that phrase لغير الناطقين بها?
Where?
From the audio files of العربية بين يديك. العربية بين يديك. Because
Okay.
it always is like سلسلة
لغير
في
yeah, yeah.
تعليم اللغة العربية لغير الناطقين بها. Like I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says it specifically like that. It's quite funny.
لكن لا أريد أن أقول شيئا سيئا عن أي معلم.
I just realized those two words look exactly the same when you say it like that, right? Apart from the dots on the sheen,
Yes.
they look like they say the same. They look like the same word, right?
عن
Yeah.
أي معلم. لماذا؟ لأن لكل معلم له طريقه وهو يريد أن يفيد الطلاب. أنا أظن ذلك. نعم، هو يريد أن يفيد الطلاب، وهكذا هو ينصح الطالب من تجربته ومن علمه ما هو يظن هو الصحيح. وأيضا من الممكن.
Is that a correct way to form that specific sentence? Like ما هو يظن هو الصحيح, or it should be أنه الصحيح. Is that, can I form that sentence
go
like that?
back,
It
please?
feels that there's a mistake there. Sorry.
Go back, please. Just a few seconds.
Yeah.
وهكذا هو ينصح الطالب من تجربته ومن علمه ما هو يظن هو الصحيح.
بما يظن
But then,
أنه صحيح أو
yeah, I feel like I have to say أنه, right? Or not?
بما يظن yeah أنه صحيح or أنه الصحيح. Yeah.
Yeah, something didn't feel right about this when I said it, and when I look at it, it's like something just feels off with it.
صحيح. وأيضا من الممكن لكل طالب.
So if I say هو ينصح بما يظن.
Yes.
Can you say also فيما يظن?
بما يظن.
Okay, so do you say, if you want to say like from what I think, or would you say فيما أظن? 1 second. Or بما أظن, like بما أظن.
What's the
Okay, the
context?
question, like imagine like you wanted to say like what I think, or so far as I think.
بما أظن.
Like نعم هذا صحيح فيما أظن. Or would you say نعم هذا صحيح بما أظن.
بما أظن.
Okay, so في is not right then. Okay.
طريق مختلف. عندما ترى مثلا الطفل في المدرسة، هيا نتخيل هكذا. ممكن التعلم التعلم من الرسوم المتحركة.
Okay, I fixed this problem now, but I keep saying that with a fatha, as in like is this is a dhamma here. Al-rusum, yeah. So I
Yes.
fixed that later on, but I keep making that mistake for some reason.
Mm.
Because I think the singular is al-rasmu, right?
Yes.
With a fatha. Yeah.
Yes.
الرسوم المتحركة. هيا نقول هذا أفضل من الكتاب، ولكن الطفل هو لا يحب أن يشاهد الرسوم المتحركة، هو يفضل أن يقرأ. إذن ممكن أن الحق أن الصحيح أن هذا الطالب هو يبدأ بقراءة الكتاب، لأنه يجد هذا مثيرا للاهتمام، وممكن هو يستفيد من الكتاب أكثر من الطالب الذي هو يحب أن يشاهد الرسوم المتحركة. لكن ممكن لكل طالب هو يستفيد من طريقه، وأعتقد أن المعلم يحتاج أن يجد الطريقة الصحيحة لكل طالب، ولا يستطيع أن يقول مثلا عليك أن تبدأ هكذا، ولو بدأت بطريق مختلف أنك مخطئ.
Okay, what do you think about that?
That's good.
Does that make sense the way I said it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
What do you think of the opinion that I expressed? Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I do.
I I think that that's especially important for one reason, that I think when you teach adults, the adult has so much agency and in their choice to continue, and
Mm.
also they should have a lot of agency, I think that's the right word, over how they learn. You know, if a student feels like this method that the teacher is proposing is not right for that student, he has the right to think of a different way. To give an
Yeah.
example, when brother Ahmed sent the Flona cartoon to me, he said the way you should watch it is you should watch it, for example, um, watch English first, like 1 or 2 times, okay? Then
Mm.
so you know what's being said. Does that make sense? You know the gist of the thing. Then he said, watch the Arabic with the subtitles, as in like with the English subtitles translation, okay? Then watch the Arabic with the Arabic translation, not like subtitles, and then watch it without any subtitles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So first one is like English, so you understand the idea of what's going on. Then watch the Arabic with English subtitles. Then watch it the Arabic with Arabic subtitles, and then watch it with no subtitles. The thing is, even though that may be the best way to do it, let's just say technically that is the best way to do it, right?
Mm.
I actually preferred to like passively listen to the episode many times over the course of a couple of days, watch it, take time to watch it, and then, but just purely in Arabic and just understand what I can understand from it. And there's
Yes.
entire sections that I don't understand, but I kind of am watching the cartoon. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to like fill in the blanks and stuff like that. And then I like to transcribe it and then and also translate on the fly. Like when I'm watching the episode and I hear a specific word, I look it up at the time. Then when I rewatch it, I might just be looking for that one word to make sure I understand it after I've looked it up. But
Mm.
like I have my own method that I would prefer to do, and I
Mm.
wouldn't like it that even if there is a better method, I'd like that suggested to me, but I
Yes.
don't want to be forced to do it because as an adult, like, does that make sense? Like, I can't say, "Hey, this is a flashcard app, and you must use it as my student." Like, if you don't use it, you can't you'll never be successful because
Mm.
you have to give that person enough respect that, like, he may find a way that is better for him. If he There are some students who maybe are not that kind of like, motivated, you know what I mean? So they need more guidance and they need to just follow the guidance of the teacher. But I feel like when it comes to adults, there are a lot of adults who can make a better decision than you can because
Mm,
they know themselves better. Does that make sense?
yes.
Would you agree with that, or would you push
Mhm.
back?
Yeah.
Do you think it like when it comes to teaching adults, it's different from like forcing them to follow the method? It's more about the result at the end of the day, right? The method is not important, right? Because um I think you could probably find I mean like I've seen, for example, like that guy on that Russian guy who speaks Arabic like fluently that we
Mm,
saw on Ustad Parsu's channel. Like he
yeah.
was studying in university a certain method and he was like, this is not working for me. So then he made his own method and
Mm,
then he became fluent in the language. Like I'm not sure how strong his translation skills and whatever are, but the point is, in like a year and a half, he got to the stage where he's like super good in speaking, right?
yes.
At least from my perspective. So like it would be weird for the university to say like, no, you can't learn that way, and you must learn a different way. Like you must learn our way, even though he managed to find a way that suited himself better and he got better results than what he would have got if he had studied in the university, you know?
Yes. Mm,
So yeah, this is I don't remember why I brought that up, but to me that is important that like when it comes to teaching adults, like you need to give them some agency and you can't just tell them there's a right way and there's a wrong way, you know?
mm,
At
yes.
least with language, you know? Like when it comes to like teaching religious matters, for example, that may be different. Maybe there is a right way to do something and there's a wrong way to do something. But when it comes to teaching language, like maybe there is multiple ways to approach the situation, even as a beginner.
Mm, yeah.
Anyway,
الطريقة الصحيحة لكل طالب ولا يستطيع أن يقول مثلا عليك أن تبدأ هكذا ولو بدأت بطريق مختلف أنك مخطئ لا تستطيع أن تقول هكذا في رأيي. وإذن قبل أن نبدأ أريد أن أقول أنا أحبكما واستفدت من المعلمين كثيرا في يوتيوب كثيرا جدا جدا جدا.
do you know which teacher I benefited the most from on YouTube?
Who?
If you had to guess, do you know or not?
Is it Hosu?
Oh yeah, like it's not even close. As in, like he is the person I benefited Allahumma barak like the most from without a shadow of the doubt. Like, and maybe it's not even to say that he's a better teacher necessarily. It's just like
Mm,
he's the right one for me, and his content benefits me just like it's exactly the right content that I need personally. You know what I mean?
yes.
So yeah, when it comes to learning from teachers, like I've not benefited from anyone as much as I've benefited from him. So may Allah increase him. But as I said, like I've benefited so much from all these teachers online from sharing their knowledge. And again, there's nothing wrong with being like, for example, I have not learned a single rule of grammar from Khasu,
Mm,
but that doesn't mean that I should put him down and say that, oh, because I didn't learn any grammar from Khasu, I've literally just benefited from listening to him use the language. Does that make sense? Um,
yes.
but then I've used other teachers who are specialists in grammar, and then I specifically learn grammar from the person who's a specialist in grammar. But why do I have to say that, oh no, one of them is better than the other one? You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
like one of them specializes in something because he has a specific passion and he thinks that this is a really good like approach. So
Mm,
take benefit from him because he's gone deep in that, you know? So if he's gone deep in it, he's the best person to learn that subject from. It's
yes.
kinda like similar, but I'm gonna give the example of MMA, but when you wanna learn MMA and you wanna learn wrestling, you know, then you go to Dagestan, for example, you know what I mean? You don't go to, like, I don't know, some country that never does wrestling, let's say, for example, right? You don't
Mm,
go to Japan to study wrestling. You normally go to Japan to study judo, let's just say, right? Because that's like their sport, right? So, it's kind of the same with language, I feel like, that you can go to a specific teacher to help you with a specific thing. Like when I'm studying with Ustad Ahmed right now, we basically never discuss grammar, you know. But when
yeah.
I'm studying with Ustad Dawood, we basically only discuss grammar. So it's like, why would I say that one is better than the other? Why don't I just take benefit from which the thing in which each person is able to benefit me with, you know?
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
كثيرا جدا جدا جدا. وأنا أستمع إلى آرائكما، وأنا أستمع إلى دروسكما، وأنا أستفيد منكما كثيرا، وجزاكم الله خيرا. أنا أريد أن أقول هذا أولا. إذن هيا نرى.
Do you want me to speed this up a bit? Because otherwise it's gonna take a while. Or do you want to keep it on this speed?
It's up to you.
Let's put it 1.5.
هيا نفكر في هذه المناظرة. المعلم الأول هو يقول أنك تحتاج أن تبدأ بقواعد اللغة وأن تفهم قواعد اللغة التي هو يقول لا تحتاج أن تبدأ بكل القواعد، لكنك تحتاج أن تبدأ بالقواعد التي أنت تحتاج كثيرا لكي تفهم هذه اللغة بشكل صحيح. وهو صحيح عندما يقول هكذا. قلت هذا في الفيديو في الماضي. مثلا هو يقول عندما سوف أفتح شيئا لحظة واحدة. عندما يريد مثلا الطالب أن يفهم كتابا ما، ولكن يوجد في هذا الكتاب، أنا كتبت هذا وإن شاء الله سوف نرى مثالا. نعم، مثلا هذا من الكتاب هداية النحو. ونعم مثلا
Yeah,
لو أراد
this is the example I'm
الطالب
using here. The one that says ويسمى اسما لسموه على قسيميه لا لكونه واسما على المعنى. That
Mm.
is something that even when we looked it up together, right? I think that like until Ustad that would explained it, I wasn't sure because when I looked up these words, if you look at ism in the dictionary, you know, it was hard to come to correct understanding of this, even if I look up every single word in the dictionary, you know?
Yes.
What do you think of that as an example? I mean, there's
If
probably a better example, right? But do you think that that's a good example of like if a person doesn't study, it would be hard for them to understand what this is even saying?
I mean, if they also did study, it would be still hard for them to understand.
Right?
Yes.
Because yeah, that's my point.
أن يفهم هذا مثلا. انظر، ويسمى اسما لسموه على قسيميه لا لكونه واسما على المعنى. يا أخي لو أردت أن يقرأ هذا، نعم، ولو أردت أن تفهم هذه الجملة بشكل صحيح، عليك أن تدرس مع معلم متخصص الذي هو يعرف الصحيح. نعم، وأيضا
Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Like if I was as a student just reading this book and I came across this with no teacher, I do not think that I would understand what this is saying. Like obviously I didn't, you know, understand what it meant very well. It's very hard to come to a good understanding.
Mm. Yeah.
وأيضا لا يستطيع أن يقرأ هذا الكتاب وأن يستفيد من هذا الكتاب لو ما تعلمت قواعد اللغة. وهذا ما يقول هذا المعلم في رأيي. نعم، هو يقول لو أردت أن يستفيد من كتب العلماء عليك أن يفهم قواعد اللغة. ولو أردت، نعم،
I said a couple of times like عليك أن يفهم instead of عليك أن تفهم, which
Mm.
is not a mistake that I would think that I make, but I did make it in this video.
يفهم قواعد اللغة. ولو أردت، نعم، مثلا أن يقرأ هكذا، نعم، وأن يقرأ مثلا وهو الفعل أو تدل على معنى في نفسها، وأن يقرأ.
I actually think this should be أو تدل, right? Because I think it goes back to لأنها إما أن لا تدل. So I think that this O goes back to the N. Is
Yeah.
that correct? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read وهو الفعل because I didn't consider prior to this. I was just picking out something random. So because of that, I put a dhamma there. But I put the fatha on the. I wrote the fatha here anyway.
تدل على معنى في نفسها، وأن يقرأ بدون الحركات. عليك أن يفهم قواعد اللغة بشكل صحيح، وأنا أتفق معه. وأيضا المعلم الآخر هو يقول أن الطالب هو يحتاج أن يمارس التحدث لكي يكتسب على اللغة، وأنا أتفق معه أيضا. عندما بدأت أن أدرس، أنا أريد أن أقول شيئا مهما جدا. عندما بدأت مثلا أن أدرس في كتب المدينة، نعم، كنت أنظر في القراءة الراشدة، انظر مثلا، كنت أفكر هكذا: أولا علي أن أعبر شيئا أولا بشيء أولا. عندما بدأت أن أدرس قواعد اللغة، وبعد ذلك بدأت أن أترجم إلى الإنجليزية لكي أفهم، كنت ما شاء الله كنت جيدا في الترجمة، وكنت أفهم قواعد اللغة أيضا. لكن قبل أن بدأت أن أتحدث.
That بدأت thing is annoying me so much now. I'm gonna fix that like today.
Okay,
The
good.
amount of times I've said that is actually, inshallah, I'm gonna fix that today.
وأن أمارس الحديث، ما فهمت اللغة بالعربية، فهمت اللغة.
Okay, this is the biggest turning point in Arabic for me,
Mm.
is what I'm saying here. Is this specific point. So I want your opinion on this afterwards.
لكن قبل أن بدأت أن أتحدث وأن أمارس الحديث، ما فهمت اللغة بالعربية، فهمت اللغة بالإنجليزية، بالرغم من أنني كنت أقرأ كلمة عربية هكذا. كنت أقرأ: أنام مبكرا في الليل وأقوم مبكرا في الصباح، أستيقظ على اسم الله وذكره، أستعد للصلاة ثم أذهب مع والدي إلى المسجد، نعم، والمسجد قريب من بيتي. وهكذا كنت أقول في نفسي قبل أن تعلمت التحدث، كنت أقول: أنام هذا فعل مضارع، وهذا يعني، هذه الكلمة تعني I sleep، نعم، وأين الفاعل؟ فاعل مستتر تقديره أنا، هكذا، نعم. ومبكرا that means early، وفي in ليل night. وكنت أفكر في الإنجليزية.
Obviously, like in they would mean like I sleep early at night, right? Instead of in this
Yes.
context. But that's exactly what I would use. So basically, I could read an entire book or an entire passage, and I wouldn't I would understand what's being said, but if you read this to me and I wasn't looking at the page, I would understand like very, very little. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because it was just I understood the form of the word and I understood the translation of the word, but I didn't actually understand Arabic. I just understood the translation of the Arabic, which is
Yes.
not what I want when I listen to the Quran, you know? Because
Mm.
as we know, like if I just want a translation, then I would just read the English translation. Why would I bother studying Arabic in the first place, right? And with
Yes.
how good AI is, like if I didn't have a translation of this, I could literally just stick this into AI, and as it's advancing, it's just going to get better and better at giving you a very good translation, you know?
Mm.
So even if it makes mistakes or there's biases or whatever like that, but it's still it's already very good at translating um Arabic into English, right? So if all I wanted was just the English translation, then why would I now bother studying Arabic in the first place? And when I read the Quran in English as a translation, it's not the same as when I completely natively understand it in Arabic. And that's what I think the student ultimately wants. They want to be able to stand in the prayer and hear the Imam reciting and understand the words in Arabic. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. Agreed.
So I don't think they want to say anamu. Okay, that means I sleep, and then mubakiran, that means early. Okay, and then fi layli, that means at night. What means, okay, that means and then akumu. You know, like I don't think that's what they want. They want to be able to just hear this and just not even think in English whatsoever. And that's why I think learning speaking is so important, because if you can study this passage, you know, like how we've been teaching the brothers, where we were asking them the definitions of, like, we're reading this and then we're asking them, okay, what does this mean? But you're not allowed to use English. Like the whole lesson is in Arabic. Um, and I really feel like if you just like even the word like ataghadda, right? What does ataghadda mean? But you ask the student to tell you what does ataghadda mean, but they're not allowed to use English. Like they have to explain it. in Arabic, or you give the definition in Arabic so that they can understand it. That's obviously you can't do that, and if you don't practice speaking, right? Because they wouldn't be able to express anything back to you.
Yes.
You couldn't even know if they understood what you said or if they didn't understand it, right? Because they, if they're not allowed to speak English, then they couldn't even express that, you know? They couldn't even say like ما فهمت probably. Anyway.
Yes.
وكنت أفكر في الإنجليزية. نعم. والآن الحمد لله أنا أستطيع أن أدرس بالعربية لأنني تعلمت التحدث. ولا أتفق لا أتفق مع المعلم عندما يقول أن الطالب هو لا يريد أن يدرس الحديث وهو لا يستفيد من الحديث كثيرا. لا أقول ذلك. إنني تعلمت كثيرا واستفدت كثيرا من التحدث. وعندما تعلمت التحدث بدأت أن أشعر باللغة عندما أستمع إلى القرآن وعندما أمارس اللغة. سبحان الله، أشعر باللغة في قلبي. أفهمتم؟ نعم. إذن عندما تقول أن الطالب عندما هو يمارس التحدث هو يركز فيما يقول ولكن هو لا يركز في الاستماع، ولا هذا ليس صحيح، لأن عندما هو يناقش وهو يتحدث مع أحد هو يمارس الاستماع أيضا، والاستماع هذا شيء مهم جدا جدا جدا. نعم. لأنني هدفي أنا أريد إن شاء الله أن أحفظ القرآن، وعندما أقرأ وعندما أتلو القرآن من ذهني من عقلي أنا أريد أن أفهم الكلمات آيات الله عندما أتلو القرآن، ولا أرى الكلمات على الورقة أو على الشاشة. أفهمت؟ إذن التحدث.
So I've started using the Hamza al-istifham more because I always use hal, but in like I don't know if you saw here, like I said afahimt instead of like hal fahimt, just to
Yes.
like be able to like switch between the two on the fly. Because hal is so much easier to use because it's so distinct, but when you say afahimt like that, it's less distinct, right? It's like
Yes.
so I've started using that.
شاشة. أفهمت؟ إذن التحدث شيء مهم جدا لو أردت أن تشعر الكلمات وآيات الله في قلبك وأنت تريد أن تفهم بالعربية. نعم. في رأيي لو بدأت أن تدرس قواعد
Oh, this thing is really annoying me. This better thing. I wish I could go back and fix that all now. Anyway,
أن
I've learned my lesson,
تدرس
inshallah.
قواعد اللغة فقط ولن تمارس التحدث أبدا، ستبقى أن تترجم الكلمات إلى الإنجليزية طول حياتك. ممكن هذا في رأيي، لأنني كما قلت اكتسبت إلى تجربتي. نعم.
I think I should اكتسبت على تجربتي, but would you say that like that or not? Would you say حصلت على? How would you say
Well,
like I gained my own experience? Like what verb would you use?
just اكتسبت followed by مفعول به.
So اكتسبت تجربتي like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
وقبل أن بدأت أن أمارس الحديث كنت أترجم إلى الإنجليزية، ولكن الأمر يعتمد على الهدف، أليس كذلك؟ لو أردت مثلا أن تترجم العربية مثلا هذا النص إلى الإنجليزية بشكل صحيح، وهذا شيء مفيد جدا أيضا، عليك أن تدرس قواعد اللغة. إذا ماذا أقول؟ ما رأيي؟ هذه المناظرة كأن الرجل هو يريد أن يتعلم القتال، هو يريد أن يقول مقاتلا، وهو يفكر هل أنا
I said who يريد أن يقول, but obviously I meant أن يكون. But these
Yes.
words are new to me, so can you tell me if I chose the right words?
يتعلم القتال، هو يريد أن يقول مقاتلا، وهو يفكر هل أنا أبدأ بالمصارعة البرازيلية أو بالمصارعة الأمريكية أو في كيك بوكسينج. كيف أنا أقول كيك بوكسينج؟ علي أن أتعلم هذه الكلمة. هو يريد أن يتعلم مثلا الملاكمة الركلية. هو يفكر هل أنا أبدأ في المصارعة أو أنا أبدأ بالملاكمة هل أنا أبدأ بالملاكمة الركلية؟ ما هو الصحيح؟ يا أخي لو أراد هذا الرجل أن يكون مقاتلا في MMA عليه أن يدرس ويتعلم الملاكمة الركلية وأيضا المصارعة. لو ركز في شيء واحد طول حياته لن يكون ناجحا في هذه الرياضة أبدا، أليس كذلك؟ إذا أنا أقول
What do you what do you think? Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Okay, good. That was a good analogy off the top of my head.
هكذا. لو أراد الطالب أن يركز في قواعد اللغة والترجمة وقراءة الكتاب هو يستطيع أن يكون ناجحا في هذا، لكني أنصح هذا الطالب أن يدرس وأن يمارس الحديث أيضا بعد ذلك. لكن لو بدأ بقواعد اللغة على الطالب أن يركز في هذا حتى يصل إلى الهدف، نعم، إلى مستوى. بعد ذلك يمكنه أن يركز في شيء آخر. مثلا الآن أنا الحمد لله تعلمت قواعد اللغة، لكني ما زلت طالبا وأنا أريد أن أزيد علمي، وهكذا أنا أدرس مع معلمي وما شاء الله هو متخصص في النحو والصرف، ونحن ندرس هداية النحو، وهذا الكتاب ليس سهلا جدا جدا للطلاب، نعم. وأيضا لو أراد الطالب أن يبدأ بالممارسة اللغة هذا شيء مفيد، لكن عليه لو أراد أن يفهم كتب العلماء والقرآن بشكل جيد والترجمة عليه أن يدرس قواعد اللغة بعد التحدث. لكن على هذا الطالب أن يركز في هذا الهدف حتى يبلغ أو يصل إلى مستوى، بعد ذلك يمكنه أن يركز في شيء آخر. هذا ما أنصحك.
Okay, what do you think? Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Okay. Although I think I said Qur'ani, like إذ لو أراد أن يفهم كتب العلماء والقرآن, which would
Mm,
then mean the books of the scholars and the books of the Quran, kind of like that's kind of like how that would mean to me, where it should have been لو أراد أن يفهم كتب العلماء والقرآن, right?
yes,
That's what I
yes,
intended, but the wrong harakat like didn't give the right or potentially changes the meaning, right?
yes.
So yeah. And also I'm not used to saying hatta and then the verb being mansub because I never really used hatta that much.
Mm,
So anyway.
هذا ما أقول، نعم. ولكن ما رأيت أي معلم، هذا آخر شيء.
Okay, so just try to throw in like a random thing because I actually think that you could make an argument for this even though it's not very strong.
الذي هذا آخر شيء إن شاء الله. الحمد لله مارست هذه اللغة معكم كثيرا، وأرجو أنكم استفدتم إن شاء الله من هذه المناظرة، نعم. وكما قلت أنا أحب هذين المعلمين إن شاء الله، وأريدهما أن يركزا في طريقهما وطرقهما، نعم. إذا أنا أريد أن أقول شيئا. من يتحدث عن الكتابة؟ ممكن أن الصحيح أن الطالب عليه أن يبدأ بالكتابة باليد، وأحسن في رأيي بالكتابة على لوحة المفاتيح على الحاسوب. ممكن هذا صحيح. صدقني إنني استفدت كثيرا جدا جدا من تعلم الكتابة. انظر، مثلا أنا أقرأ كل شيء عندما أريد أن أدرس كتابا أنا أكتب. نعم، ممكن أخطأت. نعم، أنا أكتب كل شيء الذي مثلا الذي وكل شيء الذي أنا أريد أن أتعلم. مثلا الآن أنا أريد أن أدرس هذا الكتاب وهذا، أكتب كل الكتاب، نعم، الكتاب بالكامل إن شاء الله. وهكذا أنا أستفيد من الكتابة كثيرا. ممكن لو أراد الطالب أن يبدأ بالكتابة ممكن هو يفيده، ممكن هو يستفيد من هذا وهذا يفيده، أليس كذلك؟ إذن المشكلة.
Do you see the point? I'm not saying that like you should advise the person to start with writing, but if the person came to me and just said, I just want to learn typing and writing, even if I don't know what it means, I just like the forms of the words. So I'm just gonna like take pages of the Quran, for example, or books or whatever. I just want to type them out and like try to make sense of like how the words have form and stuff like that.
mm,
And he said to me that that's what he wants to begin with. I wouldn't be like, no, you shouldn't do that. That's a big mistake. I'll be like, if that's what your interest is, then these are the benefits of doing so, and these are the drawbacks. And you will achieve this if you keep doing it, but you won't achieve this. So if you want to, then go ahead. Does that make sense? That's how
Yeah.
I think it should be laid out for the student. As in, like, you obviously are not gonna come across any kind of understanding if you're not learning any rules, or you're not using any translation, or you're not practicing the language, or you're not doing any exercises. All you're doing is just writing what you see. But I genuinely think that learning how to type on the keyboard is literally one of the most beneficial things that I've ever done when it comes to my Arabic journey. So if someone said to me they wanted to begin with just learning how to touch type, for example, which takes like no time at all, I genuinely think that that would actually be like a super good thing to start with, because you could literally get it boxed off in like a week to a month, like in between those that time, right? So let's say he didn't know how to read, he knew how to read, but he didn't understand anything, but he was super motivated to learn how to type, and then he begins his journey being able to touch type. I think
Yes.
that could actually potentially boost him super far, because he could just like type in words really easily. Like, does that make sense? Like, I actually think that that could be like a legitimate way to start, even though like no one is ever going to suggest that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But can you imagine, like, if a person starts, so then when they want to write their notes, they want to write out words to help them like make flashcards. They want to write words into dictionaries. They want to write words into AI. Because right now, there are still students that um, that I've been teaching, that even though I've told them you need to learn how to type, they haven't done that very well. So then if they wanna search up a word, they type in the English transliteration to try and find that word, and then they're like, "I can't find the word." And it's like, "Well, I did I have told you to learn how to type in Arabic, because otherwise you won't be able to look up anything, right?" So,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I think legitimately, if a student came to me and that's what they wanna do, I wouldn't tell them not to do it. I would just advise them that doing X achieves X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't achieve A, B, and C. If you want to achieve A, B, and C, then doing this will not achieve A, B, and C. It achieves X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously, studying speaking is not going to teach you how to write, right? You know what I mean? It's like they're not the same thing. If I'm going to study kickboxing, I'm not going to learn wrestling. That
Yes.
doesn't mean that one or the other is necessarily better. It really does depend on the student, and like whether or not they are actually fit and motivated to do it. Do you have anything you wanna mention on that, or should we carry on?
No, let's carry on.
Okay, we're nearly done.
في معظم الأيام يستفيد من هذا، وهذا يفيده، أليس كذلك؟ إذن المشكلة في معظم الأيام أو في معظم الأوقات أنا أقول شيئًا يا أيها الطالب، المشكلة عادةً ليست في البرنامج، لا، والتعليم، لا، والتدريس، لا، المشكلة فيك، عليك أن تفكر، هل أنت تريد أن تبدأ بالقراءة والقواعد اللغة، أو التحدث، أو مثلًا أنا أعلم كليهما في نفس الوقت، أنا أبدأ بالحديث وبعد ذلك أشرح قواعد اللغة عندما نجد قواعد اللغة، مثلًا لو عندما نمارس الطالب أنا أعلم الطالب أن يقول من أي بلد أنت؟ نعم، بلد وأي، وبعد ذلك الطالب هو يقول أنا من بلد أمريكا، وعادةً هو يقول أنا من بلد أمريكا، وأنا أقول لا، أنا من بلد أمريكا، وبعد ذلك الطالب البالغ الرجل، لا أتحدث عن الطفل، الطفل هو لا يسأل هذا السؤال، لكن الرجل هو يقول لماذا قلت من أي بلد أنت؟ وأنا من بلد أمريكا، بعد ذلك أشرح ونحن نمارس. وأيضًا أريد أن أقول شيئًا، أنا أنصح الطلاب أن يتعلم التحدث، ولأنني الحمد لله أستطيع أن أستمع إلى العلماء على يوتيوب وأنا أستفيد منهم، وأيضًا أنا أستطيع أن أدرس باللغة، إذًا أستطيع أن أتعلم قواعد اللغة بالعربية، وهذا شيء مفيد جدًا، لا أظن أن الطالب الذي هو يتعلم العربية هو يريد أن يترجم طول حياته، ولن يدرس بالعربية أبدًا. مثلًا أنا أسأل الطالب، هم يتعجبون، مثلًا كنا ندرس هذا الكتاب، وإن شاء الله سوف أجد مثالًا، يت يتعجب مثلًا، انظر، آآ فقمت أصلي وجعل الناس ينظرون إلي ويتعجبون، وأنا أسأل بالعربية، ما معنى يتعجبون؟ مثلا أنا أستطيع أن أشرحه للطالب بالعربية. مثلا عندما أنت ترى شيئا عجيبا، هو يعرف الكلمة عجيب، إذا أنا أشرح عندما ترى شيئا عجيب هذا يتعجب، أنت تتعجب مثلا. هذا مثال. نعم. إذا ماذا أردت أن أقول؟ أردت أن أقول أنا أنصحك ألا تركز في شيء واحد فقط. عليك أن تتعلم التحدث والقراءة والقواعد والاستماع وكل شيء في اللغة، لأنها لغة، أليس كذلك؟ بلى. وأيضا أنا أنصحك يا أيها الطالب، يا صديقي، يا أخي الكريم، المشكلة ليس في البرنامج. نعم يوجد برنامج أحسن من آخر، لكن المشكلة فيك عادة. عندما الطالب هو يبدأ، هو يستسلم، هو لا يستمر أبدا، ولذلك سيكون من الخاسرين. ولو أردت أن تسأل شيئا اسأل تحت الفيديو إن شاء الله.
Okay, that was the video. Okay, what do you think? Do you have any comments?
That's good, mashallah. أحسنت.
What do you think of my expression of my opinion overall? Since you already know my opinion in English.
It's very good. It comes across very clearly. So yeah, it's just like the few bits about بدأت أن ويقول أن أنه um, yeah, but these are very minor. Um,
Mm.
but other than that, all good, mashallah. أحسنت.
Jazakallah khairan. Have you got any closing thoughts on the debate as to whether the student should start with rules or speaking? Because
Um,
I've kind of like given an overall. Actually, what I think is I prefer to teach speaking first and then rules as they come along.
mm,
I think that's a much more interesting way to do it. And I like being more creative by teaching with gaming and teaching by watching cartoons and then reading books and like all that kind of stuff. But I think getting the student to be able to like express themselves and actually completely study in Arabic
mm,
and then like learning deeper rules and stuff like that by studying in Arabic is, at least for the students that we have, like that's more the goal,
mm,
to get to be able to use the languages as quickly as possible. And then you can study the other stuff like in Arabic instead of in English about Arabic.
mm.
But that's my opinion. So I think that there's benefits to my opinion and my approach and my suggestions. But I don't think that I can say that this is the way that you must begin. And if you don't begin my way, then you will just be a failure for the rest of your life. It just doesn't make sense to me. What do you think? Do you think
Yes.
that the person has to start one way or not?
I think it's dependent on the individual. Um, yeah, I don't think there is an absolutely one right way of doing it.
Because let's say hypothetically, learning speaking and acquiring vocab was objectively the best thing, and starting with grammar was objectively worse. Let's just say that was like a scientific fact carved in stone, yeah?
Mm,
However, there's a student who is very, very shy and doesn't want to actually communicate with other people and would
mm,
much prefer learning by reading and like watching videos. I think if you force that student to speak and say like, no, if you try to learn from videos and stuff like that, you can't do it, you'll never succeed, you shouldn't even bother trying, you have to learn to speak first, otherwise you're gonna fail. You could cause that student to just give up the entire thing altogether, right?
yes. Yes.
um because you because even if you have a superior method, it's not right for the student. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's more upon the student as an adult who to have more agency and take the responsibility upon themselves to choose, to take the advice from like the various teachers and then
Mm,
to choose what they think would be best for them. And even if they start that way, if they find like it's really not working and they can't continue and push through, then maybe they should switch the program and try a different approach, you know?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, as I said, like I personally think that starting from doing grammar first benefited me a lot because I was so unaccustomed to like trying to learn a language. And there is the final thing, which is that learning rules and reading and stuff like that can be done a lot via self study. Even though you still
Yeah.
need a teacher, you can do a lot of it via self study, right? It's very difficult to learn to speak without actually interacting with another human. And
Mm.
some people, because of their schedules, they can't really find like an appropriate time to do that. Some
Yeah.
people don't want to speak to other people. Some people don't want to share their opinions or share details about their family. You know, they just want to like sit on the computer and watch videos. So maybe that is then better for them to do that, right? But
Yes.
some people might hate studying like that. And they're just like really super conversational and they just love expressing themselves. They just want to talk all the time. So like maybe that person shouldn't start with like rules and maf'ulun bihi and mudaf ilayhi. Like he doesn't care about that. So you shouldn't force him to start that way either.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think you should just highlight the pros and cons of one or the other, but ultimately the person needs to learn everything when it comes to learning a language. Like it's not hieroglyphics, right? I feel like the grammar approach is like it's kind of like learning hieroglyphics, which like it's not, as far as I know, it's not a spoken language, right? You're just learning how to decode what the images mean in
Mm.
English so that you can understand it. And I
Yeah.
don't feel like that ultimately is the right approach. Um, because it is a language, you know? So you need to practice all of these various skills. Do you have anything you want to add to that, or are you happy with that?
No, happy.
Okay, jazakallah khairan.